We've all heard the expression that sometimes if a deal is too good to be true, it usually is. This, however, is the exception, because you won't believe the deal I got on this Husqvarna tractor. But there's a catch. This is a 2016 Husqvarna LGT2654 tractor. When it was new, with the bagger, it sold for over $3,000. I picked this one up for $500. And here's how that happened. This is what it will be replacing: my aging Craftsman 917 with a 42-inch deck and no bagging, which blew its engine 3 days ago, which led me to have to use this to mow the whole lawn, which is almost 3 acres. Well, that's not going to work. So let's get back to the Husqvarna. Much better. So in true YouTube style, first we're going to talk about everything that's awesome, and then we're going to get to what's not so awesome. One of the first things about this tractor that is important to me when I was looking for a replacement was a very wide mower deck, because I've got a lot of grass to mow. That's just the front, and I've got another acre or so in the back. This particular tractor has a 4.5-foot mower deck, also known as a 54-inch, which is pretty much the largest non-commercial deck you can buy. It's also an armor protected deck, which basically it does have reinforcements here. So although it is a stamp deck, it is a very high-end stamp deck, and it also has the air induction feature, which allows for a very clean cut. In fact, the cutting I did with it to test it out, it makes a absolutely perfect cut. Also has the bagger attached to it, comes with, and the bagger is a triple 9-bushel capacity. The bagger itself lists for right around $600. Usually it's about in the $500 range just to add the bagger. The tractor rides on 22 by 9.5 tires on the back and 15 by 6s on the front. The engine is the Kohler 7000 series, 26 horsepower twin, 747 cubic cc displacement. It is full pressurized lubrication, so it does have the spin-on oil filter, which is excellent. Air filter access is here, oil dipstick is there. The tractor has a new battery and new blades that came with it. In fact, it's pretty much turnkey, ready to run. There's no cracks or any kind of damage anywhere in the plastic. I also put up the tractor on a lift, and the mower deck underneath looks as good as it does on what you're seeing on the top side. I mean, there's very little paint missing at all. This tractor was not abused. And for those who are familiar with this tractor model, one of the caveats to look for is frame damage. And you would check for that right here to see if anything is broken on it. And it is not. It's also in good condition. That's just a little bit of grease, by the way. Both reflectors are on it. I don't see any rust on this tractor. It was garage kept. It also has grease fittings for the mower spindles, the washout port, and of course there are grease fittings throughout, such as this one. The headlights are conventional, but they can be replaced with LEDs, which I will be doing. And there's also a factory brush guard, which looks like this. That's only $79, so we'll be adding one of those on it to protect the front end. Again, the hood from the inside, as it opens, you can see there's no damage at all. The tractor's in pretty much mint condition except for a couple of minor items. Most notably, the seat unfortunately has a tear on it, which we might do a vinyl repair on. The mower deck height adjustment is on this side. On this side you have a cup holder, and that is normal. I looked on there to see if there's anything missing, and it's not. This one has the lever drive system, which basically it's 50-50. I kind of prefer it to the foot pedal, but if you like the foot pedal, you may not like it. But this is one of the few tractor models that has this type of drive. So if you're looking for it, there's not many of these types of tractors out there on the market today, I don't think. Even the new version of this now has a pedal down there. The blade engagement is electric, and unlike a lot of mowers, especially the ones that are made today where you have to press a button and do things to mow in reverse, with this one you need to just have the key in this position and you can mow in reverse all day long as much as you want. Sitting here in the seat so you can see the controls better, you have a parking brake release here. That is the throttle, light switch, and the hour meter, which we've covered. We're going to fire it up for you. I've never had to choke it, and it starts right up with no problem. The throttle is smooth. Definitely has a good sound to it. So that is the good on it. Oh, one more thing, there's a lever right there when you want to disengage the belts on it for removal or service. You can do so. Okay, so at this point you might be wondering, this looks good, so why so cheap? Well, this is the little thing that got me the $500 price instead of the $1,000 asking price. In a nutshell, the name says LGT, which stands for Light Garden Tractor. You may see the big wheels on the back, which also indicates garden tractor. However, inside there, which we can't see, is the infamous K46 transaxle, which, if you have an LGT and you want to do GT stuff, well, it's not the kind of thing you want. Basically, as a lawnmower, with or without bagging, when used on flat terrain over large open spaces, this mower is perfect, which is exactly what I needed out of it. However, because of the K46 transmission, this tractor has a somewhat notorious reputation for blowing up when used for garden tractor activities. One of the ways that you can detect a failing transmission is when you hear it making funny noises from the transmission, and that apparently is shortly before blowing up. Now, the replacement cost of a transaxle for this particular unit is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. Now, I showed up there, mind you, with a 6x12 U-Haul with cash in hand, and I was a ready, willing buyer who was able. And the short story of the situation was the seller was highly motivated because he had to be on a plane in the morning for a new job in Seattle. So basically, when I got there, the house had already been pretty much packed up, and at this point, this was the only big thing that was remaining. And I guess he didn't have much use for something like this in the city, and he just really wanted to sell it. I was pretty much sold on it right from the get-go. Well, right up until the point where I got on it, turned the key, drove it, and heard this sound. Yeah, I know, right? What a disappointment. So basically, at that point, he could tell by my face that I was starting to hesitate and I was getting ready to back out, which I was starting to wonder, because hearing all the stories of the transaxle, and really the whole transaction took place in less than 10 minutes. So there's a lot of pressure when you're looking at something and you can't really take your time to check things out too much. And in this case, it kind of worked in my favor, because as soon as I brought up transaxle, he immediately offered me $500 right there on the spot. And I thought to myself, well, if the rig is $500 and it might need a transaxle, I can probably pick one up in the used market for about $500 or $600, or maybe a rebuild kit. But I was thinking along the lines that if I had $1,000 in it, it would still be worth it to me, because the rest of it looked like it was in really nice shape and it was taken care of. So I went for it. We made the deal. I loaded up into the truck and brought it home. And that's when I made this little discovery, that it wasn't the transmission at all. It's something a lot simpler and probably a lot cheaper. Okay, so here we are again, and I'm going to show you the discovery I made about 15 minutes after I brought it home. Notice something right away. You don't hear it, do you? Well, there's the noise. So as it turns out, there's nothing wrong with the transmission, because you can hear right now that as long as I'm barely touching the brake pedal, you're not hearing any sound whatsoever. But as soon as I let off, there's the sound. So after all that, it turns out that the sound that you're hearing is most likely either an idler pulley or possibly a spring or a retainer, something to that effect. So I'm going to have to take the mower deck off, go through it, and find out what little doodad is causing that, but definitely not the transmission. So I ran it and tested it out for about an hour, tried out the mowing modes on it, the bagger, everything works properly. Can't find any fault beyond that little rattling noise with it. The engine starts every time, and I have yet to use the choke on it. So this thing is dialed in perfect in every sense. The blades are brand new on it. It's got a new battery. So once I isolate that little noise, this is a perfect mower. And the main thing with it is to not use it for garden tractor purposes. This is a great mower if you have a lot of area to cover and just need a mower, plain and simple, which is 90% of the people that buy tractors just wind up mowing the lawn with them anyway. The only exception is if you possibly have challenging hilly terrain, and in that case you might be looking at something with a differential lock and something a little bit more serious anyway. But for all intents and purposes, especially at $500, I don't think I went wrong on this deal. So be sure to check out the up and coming videos on it. I will be getting an owner's manual. Unfortunately, he couldn't find it. I think he said he packed it away, but not a big deal. I'll be downloading a PDF and an exploded parts diagram and just learning the ins and outs of this machine. And I'll be putting up maintenance guides. We'll put it up on the lift. I'll let you guys check it out later. And so if you're in the market for one of these, or if you have one of these, leave some comments in the place below where you leave comments. And if anyone offhand has this tractor and this sound that you're hearing is something like, oh, I know exactly what that is, I would highly appreciate it if you put that idea or your resolution for this problem in the suggestions, and that might save a little bit of time for me. But rest assured I will diagnose and solve that little problem. But other than that, this is a great tractor, and I think it's going to save me a lot of time. 4.5 foot mower is no joke. That lets you take about 4 feet in slices right off the lawn, so it should make quick work of the 3 acres that I have to deal with. And the bagger is definitely nice. So thanks for watching, and on another note, we just passed 1,100 subscribers, and that's awesome, so thank you very much for that. And if this video was entertaining for you in any way, leave a thumbs up for it, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you a lot more often. I know I've been away a lot, but I am coming back to the airwaves. So see you then, and thanks for watching. Happy trails.